Hi, loves. Welcome to a new episode of AW Confidential. Anyone that knows me knows I love a good lipstick or mascara. That's just my thing. And I'm not the only one. According to a Nielsen report, our beauty and personal care industry grew to $25 billion in the second quarter of 2023, it's showing no signs of slowing down. And neither is Adelaise
Ydelays.
Rodri Ydelays Rodriguez, and she's gonna correct me a few times. Hopefully not, but she is the founder and CEO of Golden Dream Beauty. The Venezuelan influencer has connected with fans, growing her community to 1 million. Actually, I think it's over 1 million strong. With over 60 million YouTube views, she remains passionate about leaving her footprint in the beauty industry and the world. Her brand website says Golden Dream Beauty is my American dream. And is she an American dream? She is so lovely. And she's with us today to share her journey to her American dream. Welcome, love. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here today.
Oh, I love your story. You were born and raised in Venezuela, and correct me if any of this is wrong, but I did my research. You were you were born and raised in Venezuela, then you moved to the US in 2012.
Yes.
You started a YouTube channel to stay connected to your family by sharing videos, but then you ended up shifting to sharing beauty tips, and now your videos are seen by millions. I mean, you have a huge community.
It does feel like it feels like a long time, but also time passed so fast that
Yeah.
I just enjoy every day like if it was the first day that I'm in starting.
I think that's part of like the key so we can continue to stay excited because some days are hard. And as I was reading your story, I'm curious, and I think a lot of listeners will be too. How did you go from a vision? Because I know for me, I know my process, but how did you go from a vision to creating your own product? You started with lashes, right?
Yes. So
How?
it was I feel like okay, so I'm gonna tell you when I first came here, like when I moved to the US and I went to Sephora, that was so inspiring to me just to see like so many products because our beauty section in Venezuela was kind of limited, at least when I was living there. So it was just for me like extremely impressive just to see the amount of like exciting things, and that's where my kind of like my passion for this as a career kind of like turned on and started. I've always been like a beauty passionate since I was a little girl, but I feel like I take it way more serious when I enter like my first encounter in a beauty store here in the US. But I feel like the years passed after that, and I never saw like founders that look like me. I never saw people that look like me, like in the marketing campaigns. And that was a little bit frustrating because I didn't want to look like anybody else. Like, I feel like I was always out, and I'm always been very proud of my skin, my curves, like everything. And for me, it's just like, okay, this is me. So I started with the thoughts of creating Golden Dream Beauty. I knew how I wanted to do it, and I also wanted to do it to be able to create a space for people to feel seen and represented. So for me, I love challenges. So that was a really big challenge. And I also love to learn. So I feel like if you like challenges and you like to learn, like those things can go like really well together. So that's how I kind of started, like the whole like the thoughts of me like creating also opportunity for my people in my community too.
I love it. I mean, I read that you worked in retail stores, so was this part of the process to just kind of learn as much as you could?
I didn't know English when I moved here.
What?
So I feel like, yeah, that was like a big thing. That's why a lot of my videos and my content is in Spanish because I started in Spanish.
Yes, I saw the lips like Kylie Jenner. I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, I already have, like, plump lips," uh, but I think it got over 6,000,000, or was it 8,000,000 views, but that's, like, a really popular one, and it was such a nice surprise to hear you speak in Spanish. I loved it.
For me, like, I feel like I started like being interested in working in retail first because I needed a job while I was kind of sustaining and building all the dreams.
Mhm.
Um, and second, because I wanted to have like the interaction with people, and first to practice my English, and second to learn a little bit more about like how to be a good like sales person in a way, and make sure that I could incorporate like both things like passion and like a good strategy into a business.
I love this. I love this. I mean, just the fact that you're self-taught and figured this out. It's a huge win. So congratulations for that because it's really not easy what you're doing. And the American dream, and it's beautiful that I can still even say that because I think the sentiment is that a lot of people are sort of losing their um it's almost like hope a little bit, in the American dream. There's just so much going on in the US. So, as elusive as that American dream is, to so many, it's a really long and tough road. And as a small business owner and a Latina founder, what has been your biggest hurdle and the hardest lesson for you to learn?
I feel like for me, the hardest has been to kind of like don't stop when doors close or when I hear no's. Like at the beginning, I was like, okay, people are gonna love it and they're gonna say yes. And then I was like, okay, they said no. What do I do now? So for me, like that was life changing just to be able to accept that and like move forward and like stronger and more prepared to be able to actually like open the doors that I want to open and kind of like redirect myself, and even thought about, do I really want this, or maybe maybe I should take another route. Or so for me that was hard because like all dreamers, like you want things to happen the first time, right? Like you want it fast, you want it now, and it's not the way to build a successful career or a successful business. I mean, I feel like right now, like we see a lot of viral moments uh, on TikTok and in different platforms, and that could be an amazing boost for sales and stuff like that. But when you create something with the mentality of being sustainable for a long time, I feel like that's how you can actually build a good business and a good dream.
You're incredible. The fact that you have accumulated all this knowledge and you're so young. I love it. I love it. I think it's amazing, and again, kudos to you. Now, I wouldn't have interviewed you without trying your mascara. I don't use lashes, but I love mascara, and it's really hard to find a good mascara, and I've been wearing it all day and my lashes look amazing. So, one of the things that I've been trying to do is, when possible, is use vegan products. I try. Do I always? No, but I try. And your product is amazing. And I want you to talk a little bit about it because not only does it give great lashes, but it's also non what is it non toxic, which is it's good for our environment and it's just good for um I think it's moving it's forward moving. That's where we hope to be moving towards in beauty. So I read that you invested your life savings, you went to Milan and you got this creation off the ground. That is a huge risk to take. And I want you to tell us about the journey, about this insane idea that you had, which has paid off. Like what was going through your head at the time? What was the turning point that made you decide, I'm going to take my savings, go to Milan and get this done? And what year was that? Because if you started in 2012, when did you do this?
So actually,
20
I invested all my savings in 2019 to
Okay,
start
that's what I read.
for the first launch, and then I focused during the pandemic on developing the mascara. So it took me about 2 years and a half to actually come out with everything that you see now in the product that we just launched. So that this year was the year that I went to Milan to make sure that everything was actually perfect, and I wanted to also like be able to offer as a business owner the transparency of like really I went and I checked for you guys because I wanted like everybody to feel like they were there with me, they were checking things out with me. And it was also for me as I start moving into that direction in my career and in my life to learn more about the chemist, who's behind, who's packing the orders, who is actually putting the tube in the little box. Like I want to see like how the energy was because for me like I want everything to be fair for everybody. And I had the pleasure to meet everybody that worked on our product and to know like our chemist, she was like, this is the best mascara that I have ever created in my career. And I'm like, yes, because we did it. And it took us a long time. I feel like when you start just with the thought of like creating a product and you want it to be clean and vegan, they are not the happiest because it's going to be way more challenging to find the synthetic products that are also like good for you, right? Like, because we don't want to replace something for something toxic. We want to replace something with an even better option. So sometimes it could be a little bit more expensive, but in a way, we want everything that we put in our face and our body to be the best quality as possible. And I feel like the eye area is so delicate that we do deserve, like our lashes deserve the best formula. So for me, it was challenging to invest all my savings into my dream. But I always think if you don't believe in your dream, like how are you going to make
Mm.
other people believing it? Like it's the matter of you starting first. Like nobody's going to come and change your life unless you get up and try like to do the first part of the work yourself. And then that's going to open doors and it's going to teach you so much. And I feel like in like all entrepreneurs, like we do have a little bit of crazy in us.
Yes.
Like I don't know,
Yes.
at least me. I'm talking just
No, I
an
totally
entrepreneur.
agree.
Because
I
I mean, it could work, but it could not. But it's like that moment when you're like really thinking, like, this is really something that I can do for good, and is it like possible for me to grow this? And then that yes could change your life.
I love that. Now, you bet on yourself. You took a chance on you, which is exactly what you were saying. And I could feel like that energy, like that fire in your belly. Like you believe in yourself and it shows because it takes guts to go out on your own to begin with. And then you take it to the next level. Now, one of the things that I've claimed like this year is bigger, better, bolder. Like you have to believe in yourself. And you're also a mom.
Yes.
Oh man, and you're making moves. I love it. I think it's just like so inspiring and but I also know as my daughter's she's off at college. She's almost done. But although when I look at her I still feel like she's that little girl. Um so I know because your baby's pretty young, right?
Yeah, he's 5 years old.
Oh my gosh. So I can appreciate that this journey, it comes with fears, with insecurities, sometimes doubt and guilt, especially when we're moms. They just creep in. So what do you do to manage what I call those monsters that we all have, especially as women and as mothers? How do you manage those?
I feel like, for example, if I don't know like what to do with my son and I have to, for example, pack some orders, like I make him part of my routine. Like I want him to learn what I do and to feel proud of what I do. So he loves taking orders to the post office with me and
Oh,
being part of the little things that he knows very well, like the name of the company and what we sell and what we do and all that. So I feel like also like making your kids part of your thing, not in like a crazy way, but definitely in like a very educational way for them to also appreciate like the effort that we put in. So I feel like as moms, we shouldn't be as hard on ourselves. I love to like focus in one thing at a time. So if I'm having a quality time with my son, like there's nothing that could actually like change that. Like if I'm reading him a story, I'm not gonna stop because I get a call. Like I try to like separate things and I feel like if I can connect with him in a deeper level every day and make sure that he's okay and he's good and he's growing in the right direction and he knows that I love him, like for me, that was already a good day as a mom. So
awesome.
like I try not to be as hard on myself because I know like I don't have a regular job and I have
No,
also
you have a harder job.
trips. Yes. So it's something that actually doesn't stop, and I feel like I have to divide myself into like different personalities and personas in the same day.
Well, which reminds me, how do you take care of yourself? Because that's really important as well, for you to take care of yourself so you can do all these things. How do you take care of yourself?
I feel like by dividing sometimes like the time, like organizing myself, like I know I'm not gonna like I don't record on Mondays, but I do a little bit of office, but it's more like a maintenance day. Cause I mean, if I had to record beauty tips, I feel like I need to have my nails and my brows and my hair done, like all these things. So for me, like Mondays is a little bit of self-care and office. And then like when I record, like I record, but also I do therapy and I try to stay connected to the things I want and the things that I believe in and to identify when something doesn't go with me or with my vision and to say no. So that's also like when I say no to things that I don't believe in, like that's also prioritizing my mental health and myself. So I do believe in like whatever gives you peace, even that you
And
can.
boundaries, it sounds like you set boundaries, which is really important.
I feel like for me and for my family, it is. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't have a perfect routine at all, but every day I do try to make things work in a healthy way,
None none
and
of us
I feel
do.
like that's okay.
Give yourself some grace. None of us do. We're trying to figure it out as we go. And you're doing such a beautiful job that congratulations. I know that we're going to be seeing a lot more of you. And I'm wondering, do you have any more products coming?
Yes, I feel like this is only the beginning for Golden Dream.
Oh, it is.
It seemed like it was a little slower just because the pandemic, we focused in creating and developing things. But there's things on the way. There's going to be new things
Nice.
coming next year, and we're going to be kind of like getting out of the ice. So that's for now, like maybe a little.
Ah, I don't know. I'm going to guess the lips, but we'll see.
I'll see.
You are amazing. I This time has gone by so fast. And before I let you go, I want to make sure I ask because I ask all guests before we end our interviews. We like to end with a quote or a mantra or a piece of advice. And my question for you is for listeners working on their American dreams, Latinos fighting to leave their own footprint in the world, what advice can you share to inspire them to keep going?
One of the things would be to know when to ask for help. I
I
feel
love
like
that.
we like our community is not used to asking for help. Like we try to do everything, put as many things on our shoulders, and sometimes, and it's something that I actually learned. I would say this year, maybe, or like the end of last year. I didn't know a lot of things, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask for help. And surround yourself with people that believe in you too. And like also don't pay much attention to people when they wanna like send you to the other direction. When I started, people told me, "Are you crazy? Are you gonna do those like funny videos on YouTube? Like, what is that? Your family, like your friends in Venezuela are gonna laugh at you." I'm like, I really do not care. So I feel like, to be honest, like do the things that you love and follow your passion and just make sure that you don't give up because things stop happening the moment that you give up. So don't give up. Like that's one of
Ugh,
the
that's that's the perfect way to end this episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough for being part of my journey and inspiring me. But I want to make sure that you share with listeners how they can find you, find out more about Golden Dream Beauty, and just learn more about your beauty tips.
They can find me with my name. I have a very different name. So it's Ydelays. So it's
Ydelays.
Ydelays, and that's my name everywhere on social media. And you can also follow Golden Dream Beauty if you want to be part of this dream, because this is just the beginning, and I'm so happy to be able to share a little bit of my journey with you guys today and with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, you're amazing, Ydelays. Eres un sueño. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing so much more of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
And thank you, loves, for joining us on another episode of AW Confidential. Talk to you soon.